So just this week, I believe it was the day before Thanksgiving, the Catholic Diocese in New York, along with the Jewish community, took their Catholic apostate governor, Andrew Cuomo, to court and told the court that they felt it was unconstitutional that Cuomo could just proclaim an edict like some fascist dictator that churches need to be closed, synagogues need to be closed. And the Supreme Court, in a 5-4 decision, decided on the side of the church and the synagogues. Praise the Lord. And for all you Christians that have been telling me that Trump ain't helping the church, well, if it wasn't for the 3 justices that Donald Trump appointed, we wouldn't have got this ruling. In fact, if it wasn't for Amy Coney Barrett, we wouldn't have got this, because there was a similar ruling a few months back, and it went 5-4 against us. I believe it was in Nevada, when that dictator governor closed the churches but opened the casinos. In New York, Governor Cuomo said the liquor stores are essential, but the churches aren't. But the point is, who the heck is he to override override the Constitution? Come on. And, you know, when this whole pandemic thing started, a lot of my friends said, there's no way they can close the church. That's unconstitutional. And I said, you watch. In these democratic states, they don't care about it. They hate the Constitution. Obama used to bash the Constitution. He said the Constitution, you know, just stopped him from doing all these wonderful socialist things he did. Democrats hate the Constitution. They're fascists. And just like I tell you about Saul Alinsky, who told his communist followers in America, you call your opponent what you are. So these Democrats are acting like fascists, and they're useful idiots that follow them. And I say useful idiots not to call these people idiots, but Stalin called these people useful idiots because he didn't care about them. But he would convince them that he was right, so they supported communism. Well, the useful idiots in America that support these socialist and Marxist policies of these Democrats, they're getting mad at Trump because he didn't act like a fascist, because he didn't mandate masks for everybody, because he didn't demand everybody locked down. He left it to the states like the Constitution tells him to. So, and I call Governor Cuomo an apostate, and guys like that get refused communion from strong priests because they're apostate. Like Joe Biden's got denied communion. Cuomo's got denied communion because of their support for abortion. And Cuomo was the worst. Cuomo, like 2 years ago, signed a bill that allows abortion through the 9th month and beyond. And if you don't know what beyond is, watch my video of Governor Northam in Virginia. If you don't remember him, he was the governor who was caught wearing a KKK outfit, wearing blackface, showing his racism, his obvious racism. But the mainstream media ignored it because he was such a pro-abortion, governor. And when he explains what they mean by after, they're saying if a baby's born and the mother's not emotionally stable or just don't think they can take it, they'll make the baby comfortable and let it die. His own words. Look at my video. I got it. Governor Cuomo passed that bill. This is why he's an apostate. And strong priests and bishops will deny him communion. Weak ones will give it to him, but they'll justify it by saying, well, you know, we can't judge. That's between him and God. You know, if he's in mortal sin, he shouldn't come up for it. But I can't judge and say he's in mortal sin, which contradicts St. Thomas Aquinas, who said, if someone is in public sin, like if I'm sinning and the priest don't know I'm sinning, he can't judge me and say, you look like a sinner. But if you're a public figure and you support the killing of unborn babies through the 9th month, it's obvious you're an apostate because your teachings are contrary to the Catholic Church, contrary to the apostles and Jesus for 2,000 years. So that's why I call him an apostate governor. He's an apostate Catholic. Now, interesting enough, one of Trump's appointments, Supreme Court Justice Gorsuch, said this, which was very, very, very interesting. My computer's slow. This is what he said. Indeed, the governor is, I mean, you can read the whole thing. I'm just taking a portion. Indeed, the governor is remarkably frank about this. In his judgment, laundry and liquor, travel and tools are all essential, while traditional religious exercises are not, that is exactly the kind of discrimination the First Amendment forbids. Justice Gorsuch. So, thank God for President Trump putting these originalists in. You know, because the Democrats put in judges that are activists. They make the law. They change the law. The ones that Trump put in, and he's got 200 federal judges like this he put in too throughout the country, thank God. They look at the Constitution, they look at the law, and they interpret the law. And clearly, Governor Cuomo is acting like a dictator, and he lost. Even Attorney General Barr a few months back said, what these Democrat governors are doing, he said, I've never seen such an assault on personal freedom and assault on the Constitution since slavery. And all the media was saying, oh, he's comparing lockdowns to slavery. Oh, he's a racist. No, he was saying since slavery. Slavery was worse, obviously. But since slavery, we never had a governor or governors assault our freedom. And they're using the COVID-19 as their reason. But the science doesn't back the lockdowns. We've seen the lockdowns didn't work anywhere in the world. In fact, one of my sons goes to a non-denominational church, and they never shut down. Not once. They never mandated masks, never mandated social distance through this whole pandemic. They have no cases in their church. In fact, his son goes to a private Christian school, never closed down, never had mask mandates, social distancing, just went about as normal. No outbreaks in that school either. So the science doesn't support these lockdowns. These lockdowns are an effort to control us and enslave us, like Archbishop Vigano said. You know, at first I was like, I don't know. But more and more, his words that he wrote to Donald Trump are showing me they're true. These people want to enslave us. So Benjamin Franklin had a great quote. He said, those who give up their liberty to ensure their safety deserve neither. It's one of my favorite quotes. They deserve neither. And ironically, the New Yorkers gave up their personal freedoms for safety, and they got neither. New York has the worst track record of COVID-19 deaths. And his Governor Cuomo's incompetency did it. At the time that Trump was banning travel from China, Governor Cuomo and Democrat Mayor de Blasio was saying that's racist. Go to the Chinese New Year in January. Go party, have fun. They were out there drinking and partying while Trump was taking it serious. And the Democrats in the House weren't even talking about that. They were trying to impeach him for a phone call that someone told them about that they had overheard. They actually impeached him. The House impeached him. They weren't worried about COVID then. They were worried about impeaching him. Then once they realized they couldn't impeach him, then it was COVID, and Trump's causing COVID. And when Governor Cuomo lying at every press conference that Trump's not helping him, when Trump sent a Navy ship, and he said he'll be there in a week, and Cuomo's like, there's no way it'll be here in a week. All the Democrats are laughing at Trump. There's no way they can send a Navy ship that far. There's too much logistics involved, and they have to retrofit it, and they can't get it done. Well, guess what? The United States Navy got it done. They retrofitted the whole ship and had it in place in the Hudson River in New York City within 3 days. Why? Because that's what the Navy does. The United States Navy is the greatest Navy in the history of the world. And not only that, our Army kicked butt. He had our Army Corps of Engineers build 5 hospitals, 1 in every New York borough. And he told Cuomo, he gave Cuomo good advice, send your COVID patients there. We'll take care of them. The military are experts at this. They will contain it. Cuomo sent like 3 patients. These hospitals were empty. The ship was empty. Where did he send these elderly women? Because it usually, elderly people, it usually affects the elderly. He sent all the elderly back to the nursing homes. This is the biggest scandal in America today that the media is ignoring. So 80% of the deaths in New York City are in these nursing homes, and Cuomo calls it by forcing. And these nursing homes were saying, please, we don't want to take these COVID patients. And he signed an executive order forcing them to take these COVID patients. Cuomo is a killer. But, you know, the media and the liberals, they always like personality over policy. They like his personality because they like that fascist, I'm going to do this. I'm going to lock down. You guys better shut your churches, shut your synagogues. The left loves fascists. So like, yeah, he's a strong leader. They liked his personality, but his policies were killing people. But they ignore his policies, just like they don't like Trump's personality, and they ignore his policies that are awesome. His policies that led to peace in the Middle East, for example. But that's another video. I'm not going to digress, like I have a habit of doing. The left loves style over substance. They like his style. He's this cool New Yorker, you know, good-looking Italian guy, talks cool. But his substance is horrible. He killed elderly people because of his flawed policies. He could have sent them to the Navy ships. He could have sent them to the hospitals they built in the boroughs. He didn't send them. He sent an executive order sending them to their death. The governor of New York is not only an apostate, but he's an inept, incompetent politician, corrupt to the core and evil. Yet, the media loves him. They just gave him an Emmy Award. And I wish politicians and entertainment won't get in. I wish actors and entertainers wouldn't get involved in politics because it shows their stupidity, and it really kind of hurts how I feel about them. Billy Joel, one of my favorite musicians, is praising Cuomo on his Emmy Award. I'm like, Billy Joel? Come on, you got great music. You write your own songs. I love your music. But man, you are a stupid, stupid person. Same thing with De Niro. De Niro, my all-time favorite actor. And when he talks politics, he sounds illiterate. Praising Cuomo. But why does the left, and when I say the left, it's Hollywood, it's entertainment, it's the Democrat Party, it's the mainstream media. The left has taken over those institutions, our universities. So why does the left like these guys that are trying to take away our religious freedoms, killing unborn babies, doing everything to hurt America, to hurt us? Why? The Bible tells us why. So we'll turn to Isaiah, and he prophesied. Isaiah chapter 5, verses 20 to 24. Ah, those who call evil good and good evil, who change darkness to light and light into darkness, who change bitter to sweet and sweet into bitter. Ah, those who are wise in their own eyes. That describes Cuomo. He thinks he's all that. I'm telling you. Those who are champions at drinking wine, masters at mixing drink, those who acquit the guilty for bribes, and deprive the innocent unborn, of justice. Therefore, as the tongue of fire licks up stubble, as dry grass shrivels in the plain, their root shall rot, and their blossom scatter like dust. For they have rejected the instructions of the Lord of hosts, and scorned the word of the Holy One of Israel. Talking about Jesus, prophesizing about Jesus. So what did Jesus say about these people? He said, love your enemies. But we are to love them. We are to pray to them. But we have to remember, there are enemies. He didn't say you don't have any enemies. He's saying love your enemies. So we have enemies. And the left is the enemy of the church. And Jesus also told us this. Who are enemies? Kind of makes it pretty simple to figure out who your enemies are. Luke chapter 11, verse 23. This is Jesus speaking about himself. Whoever is not with me is against me. And whoever does not gather with me scatters. And what are these Democrat governors doing? They're not allowing his people to gather. They're scattering them. And the churches are getting weak. People are stopped praying. He's destroying the church. And we need to stand up against this. We need to thank God for President Trump that he put originalist judges in to stop this. He has Attorney General Barr trying to stop this. But make no mistake, they're coming for you, and they're coming for me, and they're coming to close our churches. So let's pray for a miracle. You may not like President Trump's personality, but his policies have been the best for the church since Constantine. Yes, Christians were getting persecuted, thrown to the lions, and God raised up Constantine to protect the church. He said, no, you can't kill these Christians anymore. Now, Obama didn't kill us, so to speak, but he persecuted the church for 8 years with lawsuits, with regulations, and Biden is following that trend, but now he has the power to shut us down, to literally shut us down. So we need to pray that miraculously these lawsuits that the Trump team and Sidney Powell are bringing to the courts prevail. Because if they don't, we're going to be on the persecution. And that just tells us that God is allowing us to suffer because we've been a sinful nation. We allowed abortion. We've allowed homosexual marriage. We've allowed a lot of sins against God. And, you know, like I heard one priest say in New York, if God doesn't judge New York City, he was talking about when they passed an abortion, but I could say about the country, if God doesn't judge America, he owes Sodom and Gomorrah an apology. So God bless, pray for God's mercy, and keep the faith and stay Catholic.